Hello and welcome back to RedditRead, a channel where we read Reddit stories and talk about them a little bit. No AI voices here, I read all the stories myself. And today's theme is all about roommates. Roommates from hell. We've all had bad roommates before, except for us.
Except for us.
Because we've never had roommates before.
No, not a single one.
So we're the greatest people to talk about this.
Yeah, to judge people.
All right, so all of our stories come from Best of Redditor updates today, so you know they're going to be freaking good. But before we get started, I have to remind you guys to subscribe, hit that like button down below. Check us out on Spotify. A link will be in the description if you'd rather listen or watch it there. Without any further ado, let's get into our first story, which was originally posted in Am I the Asshole, got reposted on Best of Redditor updates. And the title reads, Am I the asshole for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us after he tested me?
Ew.
How does somebody's boyfriend test somebody else?
I don't know. That's why I'm like scared.
What would that kind of
What
kind of
did they
test would
do?
that be?
Did they maybe do like, you know, like how some people will like stick you in a room with their boyfriend and see if you make a move on their boyfriend? Maybe it's like that kind of
People
scenario.
do that?
Yeah, where they're like, oh, I just wanted to make sure that you wouldn't make a move on my
Who
man
does
or
that?
something. Or like they do it with their sister or brother or something.
I'm not a fan of tests, but
Me neither. Me neither. But I feel like that's the only kind of test that I can think of between like a boyfriend, girlfriend, friend situation.
Well, let's find out. So, I, 19-year-old woman, live with my roommate, let's call her Ashley, 20-year-old woman, in a small 2-bedroom apartment. We've been friends since high school and decided to split rent when we both started college. Things were fine at first, but then she started dating Jake, 22-year-old guy. At first, he was over just a couple of nights a week, which I don't mind, but over the past few months, he's basically moved in, eating our food, using our stuff, and not contributing a single dime to rent or bills. I finally had enough and told Ashley that Jake either needed to start paying his share or stopped practically living here. She apologized and she said she'd talk to him. I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward to last week, I was getting ready to head out to a late night study group when Jake cornered me in the kitchen. He told me he wanted to test me and see if I'd be a good person to live with full time. I was confused and asked what he meant. He said that if I wanted him to pay rent, I had to prove I was roommate material by showing I could handle sharing the space with someone like him. He then gave me a list of rules he'd want me to follow if he officially moved in. Things like doing my share of cooking, even though I already make my own meals, not bringing any guys over, I'm single, but why is that even relevant? And being respectful of his gaming time by keeping the Wi-Fi free during his stream. I can't.
Oh, no. No.
This guy,
Oh, no.
he's definitely on Reddit. He's got his fedora on. I laughed in his face and told him there was no way he was moving in. He got pissed and told Ashley I was being unreasonable. She confronted me and said Jake was just testing the waters and that I should have been more open to the idea. She accused me of being jealous because I'm single and suggested I was trying to sabotage their relationship. Now she's saying if I can't be supportive, then maybe she should get a new roommate, one who respects her relationship. I think this is completely insane, but Ashley and a couple of her friends are siding with Jake. They're calling me selfish and controlling. So am I the asshole for refusing to let him move in after his ridiculous test?
Oh, my God.
So he's trying to move into somebody else's place. It's like, well, I need to test you.
That's the craziest. After he's basically already living there.
Yeah, and not paying anything.
So what? I don't understand. That's so crazy.
It's saying, okay, you need to be respectful of my gaming time and not use Wi-Fi when I'm streaming.
That is crazy.
To my one viewer.
That's so crazy. Probably the Wi-Fi she pays for too.
Yeah, she probably. Well,
he's not paying.
If he's basically already living there, he probably already streams from there.
Yeah.
And is using their internet that they're like the two roommates are actually paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know the thing is too is if he's not on the lease, I can just imagine like he can't. No.
Well, I don't even think you can live with somebody who's not on the lease.
Yeah, technically
Like,
legally or not legally, but whatever landlords call it. Yeah, no.
yeah, so
can't.
if they find out you're living with somebody else, they're gonna like either kick them out or they're probably gonna jack up your rent.
Yeah, that's so crazy though. You have to do your fair share of cooking. She's not your mom.
That's actually crazy.
Like what?
To be like, yeah, I want to move into your place, but you have to cook for me.
Yeah, you
Like,
have to
no-
do your fair share of cooking, which probably means in his eyes, cook every day a meal for him.
This guy, okay, he's definitely a Redditor or something
100%.
because he's like, yep, you're a woman, so you need to cook for me. You need to respect my gaming time.
Yeah.
And I need to test you to make sure I can live in your place.
You know what I was gonna say? I would say it sounds like this guy might stream Splatoon.
That's an inside joke that none of you will get, but
What was his other demand? Cook, respect my Wi-Fi, and there's something else he said.
well, he said that she has to prove that she's a roommate material by showing I could handle the space,
Oh, no
sharing the
guys.
space with someone like, oh yeah, no guys. That was, yep, no guys.
That is crazy to say. You are basically
Okay, like
a guy who is brought over.
yeah,
Like,
you
you-
are right now.
You are what you're telling her to not bring over.
Yeah, he's like, well, it's okay for me. You can't do it, but it's okay if I do it.
It's okay if my girlfriend brings a guy in because it's me, but you can't do that. No guys allowed. I'd
That's
be like, "Are
actually
you for real?"
like, and just the premise of coming with a list of demands.
Yeah.
When you're asking to move in with somebody, like in somebody's else's space.
Yeah.
But here's my rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your space.
No.
And okay, we don't know if they're gonna put him on the lease, but I'm guessing they're probably not. They're just
Probably
gonna let
not.
him.
He's probably just gonna move in. If they allow him to move in, he's probably just he already is. He's just gonna pay rent, probably like a portion of like some sort of bill.
But he better pay for his electricity for his computer while he's streaming all the time.
exactly. Oh, the electric bill's up some, so now you have to foot that and pay the Wi-Fi bill. Just get a better Wi-Fi, like get faster Wi-Fi then.
Well, his
support.
first mistake is
Oh,
he's
Jesus.
we don't
Not
the
an
way she
Ethernet cable.
well the way she worded this, you don't stream on Wi-Fi. What are you doing? You don't stream on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I mean you can, but that's just dumb. Even if you know what, listen, I'm a tech geek. I'm Ethernet everything. I have Ethernet cables running all throughout my house because I need my computers to be hardwired if I'm doing anything besides just like watching YouTube. It needs to be hardwired. It has to be. Especially if you're streaming, you just can't. And you got to have good upload speed too. Otherwise, because listen, quick rant about internet, because where I live up until like a few months ago, Spectrum was the only internet that we could get here that besides like DSL, which is, I'm not getting into that. But it's so bad because cable internet upload speeds are shit. Even though the DOCSIS 3.1 standard can support symmetrical upload speeds, Spectrum hasn't done that in all their markets yet. And who knows when they're going to do it in this market. So finally, a couple months ago, another company came in with fiber, and now I have symmetrical upload speed and download speed, and the latency is so much better. So now when I upload these long-ass videos, it doesn't take an hour. It literally takes like 2 minutes. Anyways, all right, so that's the first post from this, but of course this is Best of Redditor updates. So there's an update from 2 days later. OP says, "Hi everyone, it's been a wild ride since my original post, and I wanted to give an update because a lot has happened. First off, I want to thank everyone who commented. It helped me see things in a completely new light. Honestly, I didn't even realize how much I was being gaslighted by Jack and Ashley until I read some of your insights. I thought they were my friends, but now I see how manipulative and toxic their behavior really is. Maybe I just hated the thought of not having any friends, but who needs enemies with these kind of friends? Not gonna lie, it still breaks my heart to realize this, and I cried a lot, but that doesn't change anything. Haha. I don't know why I'm saying this. It's just been a really emotional few days. Please forgive my rant. Since our confrontation, Jake has gone full victim mode. He's telling mutual friends that I'm trying to ruin his life and kick him out of his girlfriend's apartment. Let me remind you, this man does not pay rent or contribute any bills, so calling it his girlfriend's apartment is already laughable. He's been painting me as some controlling, jealous monster who can't handle his straightforward personality. Meanwhile, Ashley is just eating it up and defending him, saying I'm overreacting and causing unnecessary drama. What's worse is that I've started noticing just how much control Jake has over Ashley. She's completely bought into his narrative and is now acting like I'm the enemy. For example, she told me last night that my attitude is making it hard for them to feel comfortable in their own home. Their home. This apartment is 50% mine, but suddenly I'm being treated like an unwelcome guest. I've decided I've had enough. I've already documented everything, his constant presence, his freeloading, and now his smear campaign. I'm reaching out to the landlord this week. Most leases have clauses about long-term guests, and Jake definitely has overstayed his. As for Ashley, I don't know if there's any saving our friendship. I'm heartbroken because I thought she cared about me, but now I realize she's supporting Jake's abusive behavior. Thank you to everyone who opened my eyes to what was really happening. I'll post another update once I've spoken to my landlord and taken further action. For now, I'm just trying to reclaim my peace and my peace of mind.
God, I need to hear this update of when she talks to the landlord, because I can just imagine that Jake is not going to enjoy being kicked out if he's kicked out.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's find out because, so that was November 30th. Final update's December 9th. So, like, how long is that? Like 2 weeks? No,
like
not
a
week.
Even. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Final update. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to come back with a final update now that everything has been resolved. It's been a whirlwind, but I can say finally that I'm in a much better place, and I'm so grateful to everyone who supported me along the way. After my last update, I contacted the landlord and explained the situation. Turns out Jake had violated the guest policy in our lease by staying over so often. The landlord was understanding and firm. Jake couldn't stay overnight anymore, and if Ashley wanted to add him to the lease, we need to renegotiate everything, including his share of the rent and utilities. When I shared this with Ashley, she was furious at first. She accused me of trying to sabotage her relationship and even said I was acting petty. But as the reality of the situation set in, something shifted. I think for the first time, she saw how much Jake's presence had disrupted our lives and how much it had hurt me. To my surprise, Ashley apologized. She admitted that she had been blinded by her feelings for Jake and hadn't considered how unfair her actions were. She said she needed to reevaluate things with him and asked for some space to think. Over the next week, Jake stopped coming over. Ashley and I had a long, heartfelt conversation, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I was talking to my old friend again. She admitted that Jake's controlling behavior wasn't sitting right with her anymore and that she felt she'd been losing herself trying to please him. And here's the best part. Ashley broke up with Jake. She realized he was manipulative and toxic, not just to me, but to her as well. She thanked me for standing my ground and helping her see the situation clearly. We're still working on rebuilding our friendship, but things feel so much lighter now that he's out of the picture. The apartment is peaceful again, and I've even started redecorating the place to make the space feel more like home. Ashley and I are taking things one day at a time, but we've both agreed to prioritize communication and respect moving forward. I know not every story ends this way, but I'm so grateful mine did. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to stand up for myself. It made all the difference. Without you, I would be living in hell now.
Damn,
wow.
That's actually one of the best updates we've heard.
Wow. That's a good update.
That is.
I thought like the girl and the boyfriend were going to end up like leaving or something together.
Yeah, or OP was going to end up moving out.
That's crazy that she actually realized how
toxic.
Messed up he was for that. And like
that's such a crazy thought though, to think that someone could get so like infatuated with someone where they wouldn't recognize like the harm they're doing to others, you know?
Oh, I get it.
I know you do, but I don't, you know? Like I don't.
I heard this thing today that it's like a Pisces thing. Now I'm not I'm not one to really be like, oh, astrology is so the end all be all of everything, but I think I do align with most of like the Pisces traits. Okay, so there's no more updates on this one. The only thing that I hope comes out of this is that the two roommates end up getting together, even if it's just to spite the guy. I don't care.
Yes, and send him pictures of them kissing.
Send him pictures of them scissoring and.
Yeah.
No, actually, don't do that because he'll probably be like, "Yeah, do it more."
He'd stream it.
You can't stream that.
He would do it anyway. He'd be like, "Guys, look what I was just sent in the middle of this Fortnite, Splatoon kind of stream."
He's playing Splatoon. He's like, I just splatted all over the sky. Now look at these guys. Look at these women scissoring. All right. So good ending there, luckily. Mm-hmm. But I want to see some bad updates. I want
blood. I want fights happening. I want clothing being thrown out of windows.
I want a sword duel.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to our next story today, which also comes from Best of Reddit Updates, obviously. Originally posted on Am I Overreacting? The title reads, Am I the asshole for locking up my snacks because my roommate kept stealing them?
No.
Probably not, yeah. I, 19-year-old woman, live in an apartment with 2 other girls, and for the most part, it's chill. Except one of them, let's call her Kayla, has a habit of eating everyone's food, then pretending she didn't. Like, girl, it's not a ghost eating my hot Cheetos. At first, I was nice about it. I'd label my stuff, gently remind her, even offered to split groceries once. She always hit me with, oh my God, my bad. I thought it was mine. But this girl doesn't even buy hot Cheetos, like, ever. So last week, I got fed up and bought a little lockbox for the pantry, put all my snacks inside. Petty? Maybe. But I work and pay for my own groceries. I'm not feeding a freeloading gremlin. Now she's sulking and telling people I'm treating her like a thief and making the house tense. Our other roommate says, yeah, I probably should have just talked to her again, but how many friendly chats do I need to have before it's not my job to babysit the damn Oreos? So, am I the asshole? No. I mean, like...
I mean, here's my other question. Maybe put it in your room. Like...
Well, it's... Oh, well, it's hot Cheetos, so I was going to say they need to be in the refrigerator, but
yeah,
they
she
don't.
said the pantry, so...
Oh, yeah. So,
know,
not refrigerated items. I mean, she could put it in her room, but I mean, that's
yeah.
It's her pantry too. She should be able to use her pantry and not have other people steal her stuff. I mean, is it maybe a little extreme to get a lockbox for it?
Imagine really wanting some Oreos and you have to go and you have to put in your code or fucking open the
it's
shit.
like 3 a.m. You wake up and you're like, I really want Oreos, and you're like. And like you don't have your glasses on, you're like, I can't see the numbers.
The lights are all off, and you're trying to like, what the fuck am I looking at?
So
imagine just walking in and you see your roommate crouched in the pantry trying to open their lockbox. What the fuck?
Because she's causing an inconvenience to herself as well, not only the roommate but herself as well.
And I do think it's weird though that the roommate who is stealing the snacks is going around being like, she's making me feel like a thief and stuff. It's like, because you
were
like
you were a thief.
You know what? If I was rooming with someone, right, and they put their food in a lockbox, you know what I would do? I'd be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, like that wouldn't even bother me. Like it's only bothering her because she wants to take it.
Yeah, like maybe I would be like, why are you putting your food in a lockbox? Just like out of curiosity. If they said, I think you're stealing my food, I'd be like, damn. I'm not, but you know, if that makes you feel comfortable, you do.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's weird, but okay.
Maybe you're sleepwalking, fat ass. Like, what?
Big back?
Yeah, big back.
So, where could it go from here? Because this is Best of Reddit Updates.
All right, here's my idea here. The roommate breaks in
to her lockbox to get some hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
She's that desperate for hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
So she's like one of those girls like in middle school that would always come in late with like a bag of hot Cheetos.
Yeah, and they're like
all over
Cookie
their
Monster
fingers.
pants.
Yeah.
Oversized sweatshirt.
And they walk in, they're like, sorry I'm late.
It was always like Takis too, the blue ones.
Takis and hot Cheetos.
Like, get the fuck out of here. You're not cool. That's all I have to say. If you go to school with hot Cheetos or Takis, you're not cool.
I hope that's not cool anymore.
It wasn't cool back then either.
Well, they thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Whoever was doing it.
It wasn't though. It wasn't cool. You're just kind of annoying because then they would sit there and Takis are like cardboard, bro. I had a Taki once because everyone was talking about how good they are. I almost broke my tooth. Like they're hard.
Really? I've never had.
Yeah, it was. Maybe I just had a bag that was like overcooked or something. But this shit, I literally was like, it was not. It didn't taste good. And it was really, really like hard. But all you hear in the back of the class is, and it's just like, okay. And the crinkling of the bag. And you just turn around and look at them like, can you put that away? And the teachers would be like, we can't eat in class right now. And they're like, but I didn't have breakfast.
I didn't have breakfast, bro.
I'm hungry. God, why are you targeting me? You're always targeting me. Get the fuck out of here.
That's so accurate.
She always does this. Like, what?
That is line for line.
That's literally every time. Why is it always the kids who are always disruptive in class always are like, they're just targeting me. Are they though? Like you're the only one talking.
Yeah.
Like what?
If anybody out there is watching this who is like in school, like, is it still like this?
Yeah, please let us know.
Please tell me it's not.
We've been out of school for what?
3 years
now?
Don't remind me.
I'm old. Yeah, let us know because and also let us know if you experience these type of people. Because I'm curious if this trend and
like do we still have Taki girls with Cookie Monster pajamas?
Yeah, who are always the victim.
Let us know.
Anyway, let's get back into it.
Some comments from this one. Someone said, don't think you're overreacting, especially if you've already had a talk with her. She should be respecting your belongings, and that includes food items that you bought with your own money. OP said, yes, I've talked to her about it. She just won't listen. And then someone else asked, has she paid you back for the food she's already taken? And OP said, nope, because she'll never admit that she stole my snacks, so I just lock them. Don't want to make a scene because of snacks, but at least it won't happen again, you know? Well, I have a feeling it is going to happen again because there's an update. From 2 days later, they say, hey again, just wanted to update y'all because things have evolved from my previous story. So ever since I locked up my snacks, Kayla's been acting super weird. Not like full-blown mad, but giving me that energy. You know when someone says they're fine, but they're slamming cabinets a little harder than usual? Yeah, that. She hasn't touched my stuff since, which is a win. But she keeps making these comments like, oh, I'd offer you some, but I don't want to get accused of stealing anytime she eats something. And I just smile like, girl, please, with an upside down smiley face. Our other roommate, bless her peacekeeping soul, tried to gently suggest that maybe I could take the lock off now that the point has been made. But I was like, nope, I don't trust people who act offended when you set a basic boundary. Honestly, the vibe's kind of tense, but also peaceful. My snacks are safe. My energy is unbothered. She even labeled her cereal the other day, so I guess the message really landed. Anyway, thanks for the support. Turns out locking your hot Cheetos can lead to personal growth for everyone involved.
That's so... okay, listen. Just take the high road. Like, her roommate should just take the high road and be like, okay, fine, I stole your snacks. Sorry.
Some people can never admit that they did something, even if they clearly did.
And even if she doesn't admit she stole her snacks, she can just not make comments, you know? Like,
the
I was caught, I'm just
completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it's like, okay, stop slamming cabinets then.
Yeah, it's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Literally shatters the fucking oven glass, you know?
She's like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I'm just making cookies.
Do you know that one video where the guy, there's like baby oil or something on the ground and he slams into the fucking oven?
What?
There was like, I think it was a Vine or something. Like,
was this before like the Diddy baby oil thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was, no, it might have been just cooking oil. Like, a sister or mom or something put cooking oil on the ground, and like there's some cookies, and like someone came running, and they slid on the oil and slammed right into the oven, and just glass shattered everywhere. It was a Vine, so it's funny, you know? Yeah,
the Vine era pranks.
Yeah. For some reason, I just remembered that when I said slamming the glass.
That's not what I was expecting to update. I was honestly like expecting something way more crazy, but
yeah, like the lock is broken, the snacks are just everywhere.
But I mean, I guess this is like the other girl put a label on her food, so like maybe she gets the message now.
My question is like, does her roommate have a job where she can buy her own snacks? Like,
I don't think so, because she said she was a freeloading gremlin.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if like she just was kind of banking on everyone else having food so she could just eat, so she didn't have to buy her own groceries.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Which I can understand because I would do that. But like,
I can picture the only thing she has in the cabinet for herself is that cereal. That's it.
So yeah, she's not overreacting for that one. Not at all. I mean, it's a little bit of a, you know, to put a lockbox on.
Yeah, but
your food, but
it's also her food.
It's your food. You can do whatever you want with it. So not overreacting. Anyways, next. Our next story. Best of Reddit updates, of course. Originally posted on r/bad roommates, which I've never heard of before. So this is a new one. Title reads, roommate moved her possibly homeless boyfriend into the house. Okay. My male longtime friend, female, and I have been renting a house together for 2 months now. We're both on the lease, but I paid the deposit, moving costs, and pay roughly 75% of all living expenses. Yes, I know this is dumb. My friend doesn't make much money and was in a bad situation, and she couldn't live here without being on the lease. We've lived together for almost 3 years, and it's been fantastic. I had moved to a new city and she knew lots of people and has helped me establish a social life. I had no problem with the arrangement until now. She recently suddenly and tragically lost her dog, who was like a child to her, and has been spiraling ever since, drunk all the time, starting fights and hurling insults, etc. We had basically stopped talking when about a month ago she met some random guy. I don't know much about him, but what I've seen isn't great. 2 weeks ago, she got a DUI and this guy bailed her out. The next day, he came to our house with her and spent much of the day. He then started coming here every day, taking up the living room, walking around with no shirt on, etc. I avoided them as much as I could, and we never exchanged words. The guy gives me the creeps. He's large, maybe 6'4", and on the heavier side, and it's just his vibe. I don't know. It's just off. 6 days ago, the guy spent the night here. Then he stayed over the next night. Then the next night. The following morning, I told my roommate that it's not cool to be taking up the house and having her boyfriend stay over for long stretches. I told her he made me uncomfortable, and she basically said it's her boyfriend and her house, and she can do what she wanted. On the 5th morning, yesterday, I saw that he had toiletries in our bathroom. I told my roommate it seems like her boyfriend is attempting to stay here long term and pointed out that our lease has limits on guests staying over 14 nights in a 6-month period. This is where things changed and where I need advice. My roommate has now started to say things like, I feel threatened and I feel unsafe and I need my boyfriend here for protection. There's no truth to them at all. I've been leaving the house every evening after work and only coming home around 11 or 12, and I completely avoid all contact with both of them. The only contact we've ever had one evening was when I came home around 11 and they were smoking weed on our front porch. He was once again basically in his underwear and asked him to please wear clothes when he's in the common areas of the house. That's all I've ever said to him. It seems like she's using this as some kind of legal/defense strategy and planning to tell our agent and owners that I'm some kind of danger to her and she needs her boyfriend here for protection when they tell her he needs to go. Yesterday, her boyfriend showed up at 4 p.m. while I was still working from home and spent the rest of the day and night here. He's literally waking up, going to work, and coming back to our home. He's living here. So I got curious. Last night when I got home, I looked through the window into his SUV. It's filled. I mean, filled with clothes and hangers. It looks exactly like a car that someone is living out of. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like this dude is homeless and is manipulating my roommate into moving into our house. Her shift in language, all the talk about threats and protection, isn't like her, and it's completely divorced from reality. It seems like she's being coached. I've spoken with our agent, who I'm friendly with, and she's aware of the situation. She's seen the guy's car here every day and will be messaging my roommate about the guest rules today. My concern is that my roommate is going to start lying and accusing me of making her feel unsafe, telling the agent that she needs her boyfriend here for protection. I'm not super concerned that it's going to work, but I am concerned that the agent and owners are going to look at the situation and decide it's not worth it and just cancel the lease. I really, really like this house and I don't want to have to move. I've already changed the Wi-Fi password. I pay all utilities and locked up all of my possessions, which include plates, cookware, and all the silverware. I'm just out of options at this point, and I'm wondering if anyone has been in a similar situation. Edit, I should mention that the agent is basically our landlord. It's a direct home rental from the owners, and she is the middleman who handles all renter issues.
Oof. Oof.
That sucks.
This is messy.
I think this is a time when a duel is necessary.
Yeah, I agree. But the dude's 6'4" and on the heavier side. I feel like he could just like fall on him and win.
But if it's a sword duel, just stab him in the stomach.
Okay. Maybe. Well, like, okay, here's my thought. And this is just my thought. Could the roommate be like, she is violating the lease. Cancel her on the lease.
Well, I think that's basically what he's doing. He's told the agent.
but if him and her are on the lease, if they both could possibly get in trouble and kicked out because they're both on the lease. So
I don't think he could if he's the one reporting it and saying,
well, yeah,
she's doing this, not me. I've told him to leave.
So that's why I'm hoping that, they'll just be like, hey, you girl, You have to move out. He can stay though.
Yeah, and the agent's seen the guy's car there every day, so she already
Yeah.
knows that this guy's been staying there. So,
But I wonder if OP expressed to the agent that he is worried that she is. I feel like no matter what he says, if she starts making reports that OP, is abusive or could be dangerous to her, I feel like no matter what, even if the agent, that's just not a good look. That's not a good thing to be accused of. Even if the
No.
agent knows him and is doubtful of it, it's still, if that gets out, I mean, she could go tell other people that, and they could just automatically be like, okay, maybe he is abusive. Like, maybe he is dangerous to live with and rude, or she feels threatened being home with him. It's not like he can go to the agent and be like, yeah, I feel like she's going to make threats that I'm abusive, because that's also kind of like I don't know. I feel like that's what abusers do. They'll immediately be like, she's going to say I'm abusive. Don't listen to her, you know?
yeah. But
So, like,
I mean,
he's cooked either way.
that is true. We're only hearing his side of the story, but at least from the way this is written, it seems like they've been living together perfectly happily for the past 3 years. Now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
she's had this change. So if people are aware of how like fine everything's been for the last 3 years, and now all of a sudden, oh, he's dangerous,
Yeah.
then they'll probably
That is true.
also, because he's a guy and she's a girl, people are just more inclined
Yeah.
to believe
Sadly.
that a guy is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's kind of what he's maybe worried about too.
And also, I feel like I'd just be worried if the dude is 6'3" and like 200 pounds. That's a bigger dude. Like, even if they're not athletic, that dude could still, like I said, fall on you and probably suffocate you.
Yeah.
So it's like, he could probably be like, I feel threatened in my own home because this dude's walking around with no shirt on.
Yeah, and he's not even supposed to live here.
Yeah. Imagine the dude lives in his car and then finds this girl who's obviously going through something because her dog died. Like, it clearly seems like this dog was like an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Connection with her. Probably had a really deep meaning to her. And just the idea that she's spiraling so bad that she's now drinking excessively is with a possible, like, manipulative, homeless dude who's probably encouraging all this, all her drinking and smoking and stuff. Like, I just feel bad for the girl, too.
Yeah, because I think the guy is taking advantage of like that she's in an emotional state of her dog just dying.
Yeah.
And using that to try and get a place to live, so he doesn't have to live in his car.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this guy really feels anything for her.
Probably not.
I think he's just doing this to try and not live in his car.
Yeah, probably just have a bitch on the side and have some shelter and food to eat, you know?
Yeah.
Free Wi-Fi so he can stream.
Well, no, he changed the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah. Oh, not anymore. Oh, damn. He can't stream anymore.
He can't stream Clash Royale.
Yeah.
Some comments from that first part. I'd immediately demand the rent split to go back to 50-50 at the very least if he's going to stay there. You're literally subsidizing housing for two people. They can't make half of their rent between the two of them. OP said, I did. I sent her an email when we first stopped talking explaining that she's going to be responsible for 50%. I attached all of our utility bills and gave her a total due on the 1st. She's made it clear she's not going to pay it, but I have documentation. I could get her to take her to small claims court eventually, but for now I'm worried about getting this guy out. Yeah, also disagreement that they already had before was kind of crazy. Yeah, I'll pay 75% of everything.
Like, here's my thing. Like, I don't think I could ever room with someone. If I was going through a rough time and I had an agreement like that, I would obviously want to push to get 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's nice that he did do that, but yeah, it definitely is like, okay, you have a job, you're back on your feet, you have a home. Like, let's start making it so you pay 50-50, you know? Because I just think that's fair no matter what.
Okay, so he kind of recaps everything that he said in the first part and then just kind of starts putting in more stuff. So basically, he's saying the whole situation again, change the Wi-Fi password. He hid all of his laundry detergent and dryer sheets. So they had no TV, no internet. Then he says after this that he's been friends with the landlord since they moved in. And the landlord was just as upset with him living at the house as I was. So I think this is where he actually continues the next part. So she sent my roommate a formal notification that if the boyfriend stayed over beyond 14 days, they would evict us. My roommate said she understood and that he would be gone after the 14th day. But sure enough, on the 15th, he was right back at the house. We had a confrontation, which I filmed, and her boyfriend charged at me and tried to attack me.
Duel.
But he dueled him, but my roommate held him back. I was actually kind of hoping he would hit me so I could get the cops involved, but he just stormed out and slammed our door. I spoke with a cop friend, and she told me it unfortunately wasn't enough to seek a protection order. After that, he stopped staying over, but continued to basically live at our house, arriving around 3 p.m. and leaving at 11 or 12. I was miserable and basically just accepted the fact that this would be my life until the lease ended next summer. But 2 weeks ago, I finally caught a break. She fucked up and had her boyfriend stay over again. I documented it and sent proof to the landlord, and she texted me back saying, "Woohoo, you're free." An hour later, she sent both of us a notice of eviction, instructing us that we both had to be out by the end of October. My roommate and I happened to be at the same sports bar, a huge multi-story place with dozens of mutual friends, when the notice came in. And she came upstairs screaming at me, cursing me off, and telling everyone that I had gotten us evicted because I went whining to the landlord. She and her boyfriend left and went to the landlord's house, freaking out and saying that she's going to be homeless and won't be able to rent a place with an eviction on her record. She actually tried to convince the landlord to just evict me and let her boyfriend move in instead, saying that I was the one causing all the problems. The landlord said no dice, but told her she could avoid the eviction if she agreed to break the lease, move out at the end of the month, and didn't have her boyfriend over all the time in the meantime. If he showed up, the landlord said she would immediately send a 7-day eviction notice and we'd be out within a week. After that, my roommate and her boyfriend basically disappeared. I think at first she might have thought that if they stayed away for a bit, things might cool down and he could start coming over to the house again. But at some point, something must have changed. Either they realized there was no path forward or they found someone else to stay with. I don't really know. But about a week ago, they came to the house and started packing up some of her stuff from the garage. And yesterday, my landlord said my roommate had agreed to break the lease at the end of the month. I just signed a new lease today and will officially have my home back on November 1st. Not sure what the lesson is. Definitely be cool with your landlord and always sign a separate rental agreement with your roommates before you enter into a lease together.
Damn. So they had separate agreements themselves, but instead of signing one lease, they basically had two in each of their names.
No, I think they only had one lease, so he's saying you should have a separate rental agreement for each person.
I thought he said that they had, Because
yeah. He said, not sure what the lesson is. Definitely be cool with your landlord and always sign a separate rental agreement with your roommates before you enter into a lease together. Because that's why the landlord had to like evict both of them.
Yeah.
Unless, no. But then she ended up leaving anyway, just breaking her lease.
Yeah. So I was like, did they sign two of their own that they?
Okay, so yeah, they must have them.
That's a good lesson for you out there who are gonna room with someone. I mean, I can imagine landlords would probably hopefully encourage that too, though, to prevent things like this. Because if you're rooming with someone, obviously they're gonna be like, okay, well, shit like this could happen. So
yeah.
And also an agreement on who's paying what part of the bills, so you can't really fight about it. Because landlord, all they want is their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to lose out on money because two roommates are arguing over who's paying the bills.
Right, yeah. He got out of it. He got his house back. She's gone. Probably living on the street with her boyfriend smoking meth or something.
That's such a... God. What a crazy thing to have ruin your friendship. You're spiraling. You meet a guy. You let this guy take over, ruin your whole entire living arrangement, your friendship, lets you spiral further, and now you're homeless.
Yeah, she's going to look back on this and be like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah, when she gets in a better headspace and gets rid of this guy.
Because she made the choice either not have him come over or lose the place that I am living at.
Yeah.
And she chose lose the place I'm living at.
Chose the guy.
Over some guy that she met on the fucking street.
God. I kind of wish he hit OP just so he could get the duel,
Get a restraining order, get him for battery or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he'll be off like his he won't be in his car anymore. He'll just be in jail.
Yeah, he won't be homeless anymore.
Yeah.
He'll have a place to stay.
And then he should just keep beating up OP, and then he'll keep having a place to stay.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets out, just hit him again, and he'll have another place to stay. Well, good ending. I want something with a bad ending. Give me something bad.
Give me something bad.
Give me something absolutely terrible. Anyways, next story comes from Best of Reddit Updates, of course. Originally, Am I the Asshole? Title reads, Am I the asshole for not telling my housemate I'm moving out and taking everything with me? I've lived with my two friends in a house, rented room by room for 10 months, and around 3 months into this, a girl we don't know moved in to fill the last room. I was initially excited to have another girl in as my two friends are guys, so I greeted her when she moved in, but my excitement was quickly dulled as her first words to me weren't hello, but what are your plans to clean this place up? This annoyed me immediately as the place was in pretty good condition, but I explained the way we clean and tidy. Clean up after ourselves with a weekly cleaning day, which happened to fall the day after she moved in. I showed her around, explaining what belonged to who, what was communal, etc., and then let her settle in. But there was already problems the next day when we found she had used various things of ours to cook and then half-assed washing them, leaving dirty food and stains on our dishes and utensils. This happened a few times before. One of my friends explained we didn't mind her using our stuff until she got her own, provided she actually cleaned it after. She then shouted at me for 15 minutes, even though I wasn't the one that even brought it up, and said I was trying to look good in front of the boys, who've been my friends for years. Cue the laundry list of issues we faced over the past 7 months. She uses the clothes drying racks 5 days a week, not accounting for the other 3 of us in the house. Still won't clean our dishes, has cracked the wood on our chopping boards, using them as lids for hot frying pans. What the fuck? That's crazy. Leaves her hair all over the bathroom and kitchen floor. Uses all my freezer space, leaving me with none. Leaves the microwave and air fryer dirty. Leaves pee and period blood on the toilet seat and takes my pads, tampons, razors, etc. without asking. These are a quarter of our grievances, which we have had tried to address, only for her anger to be directed solely at me. The house has never been in worse condition, and her only solution is to complain at us for the mess. 90% of it is obviously hers. Then ask us to send her money to buy cleaning products. We have plenty. And then not help with the weekly clean. Me and my other 2 housemates have been looking for a reason to leave, and I just got a new job opportunity. So we took this chance to find a 3-bed flat to rent as a whole and are moving in next week. The thing is that 90% of our things in this house are bought by us. We will be taking the toaster, microwave, kettle, drying racks, air fryer, our pots and pans, the iron, Hoover, and much more. Pretty much all our communication with her is now through me, as the boys refuse to talk to her for various other reasons. So I've decided not to bother letting her know and let her find out when A, she notices people coming for viewings, or B, the moving van arrives. We didn't expect her to buy things we already use communally, but she has maybe twice ever contributed to this household financially, so she can deal with buying her own stuff and learn to clean up her own messes. Am I the asshole for not telling her?
Hell no, you're not, and I can't wait for the update on this one. Oh my God.
She wakes up. I would do this as stealthily as possible. I'd do it in like either if she's gone during the day at work, I'd do it then, or like try and be sneaky in the middle of the night, get in with that moving van, get everything out so she just wakes up or comes home and everything is gone.
Yeah.
Empty.
I turned the couch upside down too, just to be a dick.
Turn the couch upside down, turn the TV over.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
I would turn everything
the
upside
remote.
down. Yeah.
Hopefully whoever this is has never lived with people before, because she doesn't know how to live with people.
She clearly doesn't know how to live alone or on her own at all. Who doesn't know how to wash dishes? You wash it until, okay, listen, here's the thing though. If you're hand washing a dish and there's still food on the dish, or like still like sauce on it, would you consider that clean?
Oh, no.
Exactly. So she's leaving food on these dishes when she's cleaning them.
Well, yeah, that's, she's just hoping somebody else is going to do it for her. I kind of understand where she's coming from by using other people's stuff, because she's probably never lived with other people before that aren't her parents. And her parents are probably okay with that.
But here's the thing though. I believe they have probably told her not to use their stuff. If they told her, hey, you can use our dishes if you clean them, but stealing like pads and stuff is kind of crazy. Especially, what's also crazy is she only confronts the girl roommate. She does not confront the other 2 dudes. She only goes at the girl.
That is true. She does.
So I feel like that's either I'm too scared to go yell at the boys, or it's you're a girl, you should be cleaning. Like, I feel like this roommate is like, you're my mom. You do the dishes kind of thing.
You're my mom. You do the dishes. You're like, you're the only woman here, so you must be my mom.
Yeah. You're the girl here. Get to cleaning. Like, okay.
She's, you know what? She's acting like those guys that are like to their girlfriend, like, be my mom and do everything.
Yeah. So I just feel like that's crazy. Also, I'd be so pissed if someone was stealing my pads, my tampons, and my razors. You know how expensive razors are?
No.
No. Well, if you want, like, here's the thing. There's a thing called a pink tax on products that are marketed towards women's. Like, a men's razor could be like $10. The same razor, but pink is like $15. So, like, it's the pink tax. So I get men's razors, actually, because they work better anyway, and they're cheaper. But I would be pissed if someone was stealing my razors, because it's still like, I'm not using a razor that you used. And 2, that's my fucking razor, and razor heads can kind of be expensive, like the replacements. So.
All right. So this one has an update from a month later. They say, posted about a month ago about Nightmare Housemate and my evacuation plan, and I'm finally updating you all. We actually did not move out when we were meant to, as it turns out the prospective landlord did not have the correct licensing and couldn't produce it when requested. Luckily, still had some tenancy left. We got our deposit back and found a better and cheaper flat and moved in last week, which is going great. On to the roomie reaction. She got home from work early and found me taping up a box with my door open and asked me, "Are you leaving?" Turns out she knew this already, but still individually asked me and my housemates if we were leaving and asked us each to leave a few possessions, so she had just one thing. We did not leave anything of ours except for our shower curtain, which she had stained with hair dye. Yes, we took the toilet paper and cleaning supplies, as she never bought any ever. It was honestly quite a calm departure, except for messages asking how much things were and last-ditch efforts to get us to leave her things, and her telling me to take it out the bin on my way out. A few days later, she rang me 4 times, but I didn't see them as I was at work. When I did see the calls, I just blocked her number, and we have never been in such bliss. We can all walk around our flat without feeling uncomfortable, and I haven't been shouted at once in my own home. Long may this continue, and the boys also stepped up on the move out and laid down the law, so I had backup. New job, new home, life is great. Thanks for all the advice.
Damn.
So she didn't even have toilet paper. They took the toilet paper.
Good.
That's kind of petty, but that's amazing.
But
that's amazing.
I just imagine the roll was like half gone on like the one they had out.
We're
and they
taking
still
this
were like,
half. Yep, I bought this, so I'm taking it.
Yeah. What if we have to shit on the road? What if we shit our pants?
What if we have to fart and it might be a shit? And she's so incompetent that she, a few days after, she's still calling her like, "Can I get my toilet paper?" She either hasn't taken a shit in a few days, or she's just not wiping
it in.
Or
she's using the shower curtain.
That she already stained.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's already stained, so.
What's to say we can't add a few more on there?
But she's so incompetent that she can't. They've already moved out, and she can't just be like, "Well, I guess I have to get my own stuff now." She's still like, "No, guys."
Yeah, she's calling them asking, "How much does this cost usually?
Can I buy it from you?"
Like, can you just like bring back a toilet paper roll?
That's
can you just leave me one pot? Like, no. Can you leave the toaster? Girl.
That's crazy.
This has to be her first time living out of her parents' house or something. To not be aware or leeching. Maybe she's roomed with people before and this is just how she's acted and they took care of her basically.
Maybe she got kicked out of the last one.
Maybe. I just like, God, what a miserable person to live with. It sounds like she just needs to live on her own and experience life. I feel like this is probably good for her to kind of just be thrown out there.
Yeah, she needs to learn how to live on her own.
Yeah, she needs to learn how to do her own dishes. First of all, buy her own dishes.
Buy toilet paper.
Yeah. And then go and clean them. Once she buys her own things, and if other people move into the place she's at and they start using and abusing her things, she's going to finally understand what it was like for these other people.
Yeah, now she's going to be like, wait, this is what I was doing before.
Yeah, she's like, they're using my one pot and they're leaving food in it still.
And they're staining my shower curtain.
They're taking my period pads.
That's crazy. You're taking those.
Yeah. But girl, go buy your own. That shit's also expensive.
Is she okay? Even if she should know how to buy her own like hygiene products.
Yeah.
Even if she hasn't lived on her own before. That's crazy to think it, she's, well, we don't know how old she is.
God, if someone's using my expensive ass shampoo and conditioner, you're catching hands. No one is allowed to ever touch my shampoo and conditioner. That shit's expensive. And I remember when I lived at home, I had my own. And it's like, I know how much my little sister used. She would put like this much conditioner in her hand. I'm like, girl, you need like this much, bro. You're fine. You don't need a fucking dollar coin. You need a penny. Okay? Get the fuck out of here. And I remember we bought, oh my God.
What the fuck? Holy shit.
He's huge.
Motherfucker. Does he show up on camera?
He's actually huge.
You guys see that thing that looks like it's on the lens? That's a big ass spider coming down from the ceiling right now.
Ginormous. He's still pulling his web. It's still,
he's gonna have a whole web across here by the time we're done.
I can literally see it. It keeps stretching out. He never broke it off. He's walking with a web sticking out of his ass right now. Do you not see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro?
All right, so still, that one had a good ending too. Where are the ones with the bad endings where everybody dies? And because that's what I want. Ask
AI. Roommate stories where everyone dies.
Where everyone dies in the end.
The update is from like the mother.
Reddit roommate stories where there's a nuclear bomb that goes off and everyone dies.
Yeah.
So on to our final story, which of course comes from Am I the Asshole Again? Title reads, am I the asshole for swapping rooms with my roommate while he was away? I, 19-year-old guy, have been living with my roommate, George, 20-year-old guy, for about 6 months. We've been decent friends for a year or so, but it's definitely been rocky since moving in together. For context, we go to different universities, and our schedules are completely different, so our breaks don't really align. A few weeks ago, we got in a bit of a fight. He wanted to have a bunch of friends over and have a house party, but I had an exam the next day and needed a bit of quiet. He was pretty pissed at me, and I didn't really see him before I went home for my mid-semester break. While I was at home, the airline I would have been flying return with canceled some flights, problems with the gas shortage, and I ended up having to come back a day early. When I got back to the apartment, it stunk like beer and weed. The floor was a mess, and dishes were piled up. I was a bit frustrated with the mess, but I also figured George thought I'd be back the next day. I didn't want to start another fight, given we'd left on sort of bad terms. That was until I opened my door into my room and saw 3 of George's friends sleeping in my room, 2 on the floor and 1 on the bed. They seemed to have made themselves pretty comfortable. My stuff was still all in there, but moved out of place. There was empty cans and bottles everywhere, alcohol and spew stains on the carpet, and the room reeked. I was livid and yelled at them to get out. This must have woken George up. He came out of his room looking pretty surprised. I demanded he cleaned everything up and went out for a few hours of fresh air. When I got back, he wasn't there. He cleaned up a bit. The beer bottles were in a bin and dishes were done, etc. But my room still smelt and was far from what it was before. I could see he'd made an attempt on the vomit and alcohol stains, but it seemed pretty half-assed. The smell made me pretty nauseous, so I ended up sleeping on the couch. It was also gross, but not quite as bad. Eventually, it mostly aired itself out, but I was still pretty disgusted by some of the stains and lingering scents. George never apologized for this, and we just didn't talk much after the whole incident. I was pretty bummed. We were pretty good friends, and I would have been open to working through this to make the rest of our lease tolerable, but not without him owning up and apologizing. 2 days ago, he left for his break, and I've had the apartment to myself. I was tidying my room and found a ton of ants in my wardrobe, leading to some crumbs they must have left. I try not to eat in my room and definitely wouldn't have in my wardrobe. This was pretty much the final straw for me. The lease has another 6 months on it, so I couldn't move out. And I decided if George thought that was an okay way to leave someone's space, he could have it. It took me the whole day, but I ended up swapping out all our furniture. I set his clothes up in the wardrobe with ants, remade his bed, and tried to recreate his room exactly. His room is a fair bit bigger than mine with an in-suite and deck, but we both split rent evenly. He found the apartment, so claimed the better room first. There's barely any stains or smells in his room, and even if there were, the deck gives me a bit of a safe haven. Not sure why they decided my room was the place to dump everything. At the time, I thought this was a fair enough response, but he's coming back tomorrow and I'm rethinking it. I still have time to fix it. Am I the asshole?
See, this is iffy. Like, I think his friend's an asshole for using his room as a party room and not your own.
Of course.
Like, how are you, who has your own bathroom, a bigger room, and a deck, gonna let your friends party in your friend's room and then crash there? First of all, why are you in his room at all? But also, see, I don't know how to feel about the moving part.
Yeah, I think this is an everyone sucks here.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the roommate was an asshole for using his room and doing all that. But you're also kind of an asshole for moving everything and swapping rooms with him while he's gone.
Yeah. Like, that's extreme to me.
Yeah, that's taking it from 0 to 100 pretty fast.
Yeah. It's also a great way for you and your friend to absolutely have a blow up, because I cannot imagine your friend's gonna be very happy losing the deck and his own bathroom.
And yeah, and that's the thing too, is like when you're thinking of revenge with a roommate, you have to consider you have to live with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to deal with that?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just easier in the long run to just take the high road, because you have to live with this person. Now, because he's done that, well, he's asking if he should undo it because he still has time to undo it. So it's not finalized yet. But if he still goes through with it, okay, he's going to be pissed. Now they're both super pissed at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're starting this whole thing.
And who's to say that your roommate won't literally demand that who's to say he won't just take your room and just sleep with your stuff in there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's to say he won't just do that? Like, there's too many ways for it to turn extremely petty and very ugly, where as much as it sucks, I would just move my stuff back and take the other room. And as much as it would suck, like I said, I would just get like a fucking shampoo or rent one and clean up the stains and kill the ants and take care of it, and then just lock your room. Maybe you can lock it and get like a key, you know, or something where
possibly. Yeah, I think this is one where you kind of just have to bite your teeth.
Yeah,
because now you're starting a war with your roommate.
Yeah, and also, okay, this may sound, I've never been in this situation, but I feel like your roommate could do so much worse. The worst he did was had a party and let people into your room where they drank and they threw up and they ate some food. And yes, they used your stuff. They slept on your bed. Your room smells like vomit and alcohol. Yeah, that sucks. It so sucks. But hey, your roommate, yeah, he half-assed it. He's probably hungover. He did try to clean it up. He didn't do a good job, but at least he tried. He could have just left. He could have just not done it and been like, whatever. Not cleaned up anything.
I also wonder if he would have come back the day that he was supposed to, because he came back a day early. Mm-hmm. If he would have came back the day he was supposed to come back, if he would have done a better job at hiding it.
Yeah.
But because he found out about it, now he's half-assing the job. He's like, well, it's already blown. He already knows about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or doesn't want to intrude on his roommate's space more, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of extreme to switch rooms, and it's just going to end up in a big blow up. So I think if he goes through with it, I do think he will be, they'll both be the asshole, but I think he should switch it back, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said they had like they have 6 months left in their lease. Just bite your teeth for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Dude, because now you're going to, instead of just biting your teeth for the next 6 months, now you're starting a war for the next 6 months.
Yeah. Get an ant trap, shampoo your carpet, open the windows, let it air out, get a little air freshener, put some Febreze in there. You can get like carpet stuff where you sprinkle like carpet, like powder that like supposed to absorb scents and stuff.
Yeah.
Do that, clean that up, and just lock your room, close your door, put do not enter, like tell your roommate no one can be in my room. Like lay that boundary down. If he violates it again, then you have bigger fish to fry. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you're gonna blow this up even worse than it is.
Let's see. So, small update from a couple hours later that he added to that post. So he said, "Thank you for advice, everyone. I really appreciate thoughts, opinions, etc. Although I acknowledge and understand everyone saying I should change it back, the little time I have had in my new room has been too good to let go of. I feel pretty justified by the support I received and don't feel like being the bigger person at the moment. I will talk to him when he gets back so he doesn't just walk into the wrong room and hopefully explain my position. To those asking about bolts, I will get a lock, but it's tricky. The apartment rules are pretty strict, but I will look into it. I will update everyone after it goes down. Thanks again for the support and advice." Okay, he's kind of the asshole now.
He's the asshole. He really said, "I really like my new room." He probably, you know what, he likes it probably because he has his own bathroom and a deck.
Yeah, and he's saying, yeah, I don't feel like being the bigger person at the moment.
So he's acknowledging that this is kind of a bogus move.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You might not feel like being the bigger person at the moment, but a month from now when you're in a war with your roommate, you're going to be like, well, now I feel like being the bigger person.
Well, it's also like I feel like it's too late then to go back on it because
then it's too late.
And especially because one, you're going to be comfortable. And this is from just like, I feel like this is how I would feel if I was in this situation. I've never been in this situation, but I feel like this is how it would turn out for me because I'm a very spiteful person. I would get too comfortable and I would almost enjoy that they're upset at me. I wouldn't be happy like they were being a bitch to me, but I'd be like, haha, I had that trashy room for 6 months. Now I get the better room for 6 months. Like, I'd just be like, it's too nice to move, and I'd be too lazy to move myself back. Because it'd be like, well, then I'm basically losing this war, and I don't like to lose, so. And I feel like that's the same exact way he's fallen down. Would I ever do that? No, I would never switch rooms with someone. I would feel it would feel inappropriate almost for me to go into someone else's personal space and touch their personal stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I would never end up in this situation. So, like, I don't understand how he has the balls to go into someone else's room, go through their dressers and pick up their clothes and move it into a closet and move their whole bed.
That's also a lot of work. He's doing a lot of work for this like, I'm mad about this, so I'm gonna do this.
I genuinely want to know what he thinks is gonna happen when his roommate comes back. I can imagine OP is sitting in like on the couch with like his arms like, we need to sit down and talk. Like, I feel like he's gonna Chris Hansen him, you know, like, have a seat.
Have a seat.
What are you doing here?
Keep your hands out of your pockets.
Yeah, hands out of your pockets.
Who are you? We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. Are you her dad? I swear we're just here to watch a movie.
Are you a cop? No, I'm not a cop. We just want to watch the football game.
Yeah. Do you have condoms with you?
That's such a trick question because there's no good answer. Because if they say no, then he's going to say, oh, so you were going to have sex unprotected? And if they say yes, they're like, so yeah, you were going to have sex.
Yeah. Chris really got them, bro. But no, I feel like that's what he's going to do. He's going to be pacing around in the living room. He's going to hear someone jiggling at the door, like trying to unlock the door. He's going to sit down and he's going to like, what? Oh, we have to talk. And the roommate's going to be like, can I go put my stuff down? I just got off a plane ride home. Like, I want to go into my room and just decompress, go to the bathroom in my ensuite, you know? And friend's going to be like, yeah, about that. It's not your bedroom anymore.
It's going to be like, so we need to talk about
Oh my God. Imagine getting back to your home, right? Stressful flight. You had to fly back, you know? You were at your family's place. So it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to go home into my bedroom and just decompress, right? You get home and your bitch ass roommate is sitting there and you're like, hey, and you go to like put your stuff away and they're like, your room is actually now to the right instead of to the left. I'd be like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah, that's honestly the worst when you're about to get home and you're like, okay, I can finally be done with the day.
Yeah.
And then there's like something else
Yeah.
that stands in your way.
Yeah, and
you're
it's
like,
your
no.
and it's your roommate moving all your stuff to another room that smells like liquor and throw up still. Like, what?
I think I might just go in my car and be like, you know what? I'm just going to live in my car now.
No, you know what I'd do? I would get right back in and I'd start moving the furniture back. I'd be moving everything and be like, no, I'm taking my room back. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, bro. No way.
Yeah.
That's how this is going to go. The roommate is going to be jet lagged, tired, and is going to be pissed off and is going to start moving the shit back, or it's going to be a full-blown fight, police involved. It's going to be a duel.
A duel.
Yeah.
Yes, give me a duel. Give me a duel.
Duel.
All right, well, let's see what happens because we have an update from 3 days later. Says, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for everyone's support and advice. Really appreciate it. I did decide to keep the room switch. I also looked at the lease agreement and was able to install the lock on my new room. Okay, that's insane. That's insane. He switched the rooms and then put a lock on it. That's insane.
I just feel like that's too much.
That is way too much. Well, let's see how the guy reacts. When he got back, I sat him down in the living room and explains, have a seat.
Have a seat.
What were your plans here tonight?
I just wanted to go to my room, bro.
I just wanted to go to my room. You know how many times I hear that? Okay.
Please leave out of this door. No, not the front door. This door.
You're not going to want to go that way.
Yeah.
You have to go this way.
Are there going to be cops out there?
That's not up to me.
Not up to me.
When he got back, I sat him down in the living room and explained what I'd done. I tried to explain why I was so frustrated and how difficult it had been living in my new room, but he didn't let me finish and ran over to look at his, now my, room. When he saw that everything I said was true, he started yelling at me. He called me psycho and that I had totally disrespected him. I tried to stay calm, but I ended up yelling back at him. I told him that his actions were what had led me to do this and that if he ever wanted to switch back, he needs to pay me to professionally clean my old room and get rid of the bugs. He told me it wasn't that bad and I had way overreacted. Luckily, the fight didn't get physical. Oh, damn it.
Damn.
But he did get very close at times. We definitely didn't work it out, but he did seem to have somewhat accepted the new circumstances. Turns out he not accepted it at all. The next morning, I woke up to the landlord knocking at the front door. George had told the landlord that while he was away, I'd trashed my room and swapped with him. The landlord was furious about the ants and the stains in the carpet. I tried to explain what actually happened, including that George had been smoking weed in the apartment, which is illegal here, and the landlord did listen, but with no proof of when the apartment got trashed or who was telling the truth, said we'd both be liable. He said this was our first warning and he's giving us a week to clean it perfectly or we'd be kicked out and lose our bond. After the landlord left, George and I got right back into it. I demanded he pay to clean it up, but he completely refused. He said that he had done more than enough to try and clean it and wouldn't consider paying for anything while I still had his room. I told him that he was an idiot for bringing the landlord into the situation, but apparently he's got another place to crash and didn't care. Knowing he had a different place, I realized I didn't have much of a leg to stand on. My ego wouldn't let me give up the room, let alone pay to get everything cleaned up. So I retreated to my room and locked the door to think things over. I decided to text one of my friends to see if I could stay at theirs for a bit, just in case. And they said it would be fine. I knew George was going out later that night with friends, and I decided I would start moving some of my things over to my friend's place. George ended up sleeping somewhere else and didn't come home until late the next day, giving me enough time to get all my stuff out. I basically moved out by the time he got home, at which point he sent me a text telling me not to come back and that he wouldn't be getting anything cleaned. I sent a screenshot of it to the landlord, just letting them know that we would certainly be sacrificing the bond and our lease. I made sure to apologize to the landlord, not that it made much of a difference, but he seemed to appreciate it a bit. I'm now apartment hunting again and have blocked all contact with George. I'm typing this from the couch of my friend's place where I'll probably be for the next few weeks. Thanks again for the support. I guess I've learned not to move in with my friends and will be leasing by myself next time. Not sure whether I regret what I did or not. I still feel it was justified, but almost certainly not worth the fallout.
What the fuck did we say?
This guy's an idiot. What?
First of all, the Redditors who supported him are fucking idiots too.
Yeah.
There definitely were people, yeah, you're so justified for this. No, he wasn't. And now look at him. He's
now he
sleeping
has
on a
nowhere
couch.
to, yeah, now he has nowhere to live. See,
Oh
like
my
this is
God,
what
I hate Redditors.
like he did this to himself.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because like at first I was on board with this guy. But he did this to himself.
Yeah. He had every opportunity to move everything back, take the high road, which I know sucks. But like, what did I say? Right when he took that room and right when his friend was pushing back, his ego was going to be too big. He was going to not want to do. I literally said that.
He literally said my ego would not give up the room.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I feel like I would be in that situation. So I'd never put myself in that situation.
Like, his ego was so large that he would rather give up this place to live, go crash on his friend's couch, than give up the damn room.
Yeah. Which he didn't have to do in the first place. He could have he had the time to move everything back. I know he said, well, in the 6 hours I had to think, I don't really have that much time. Yeah, you do. Stay up all night and move
he's just
back.
trying to justify why he couldn't do it, even though he could.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like this. I think it sucks. Take the high road, bro. Like I said, you don't even have to hire a professional cleaner. You know what you do? You go down to a store, because most grocery stores, you can rent a fucking shampooer, and you go and you shampoo it yourself. Yeah, it's going to suck. You do that. You shampoo it. You get some ant traps. You fucking kill the ants. You could fucking probably shampoo them bitches up. Like, bam, done. You're done. And it's all clean and everything's back to normal-ish, And put a lock on that room and then call it a day.
Him moving all his stuff into the other room and putting a lock on it is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, like, actually is psychotic behavior.
Well, and I may be wrong. It sounded like Redditors told him to buy a lock. I don't know. It sounded like he said, I did think about getting a lock, and I did get a lock. Like, it sounded like someone in the comments said you should get a lock for the door, either for his new bedroom door or for his old bedroom door. I don't know. It sounded like someone had said it and he was addressing it in the like mini update when he was like, I'm not moving back. I could be wrong, but I think that's like what I was picking up. So it's like I said, again, he's taking advice from Redditors who are pushing him to make the wrong decision here.
Yeah,
and he literally admitted that there were people telling him that he should just move it back, take the high road. And he's like, no, I'm not going to.
He's like, my ego is too much.
Yeah, you shouldn't move in with friends then.
I guess someone, I don't see this comment here, but somebody said commenter 2 was on the ball, and it's frustrating when the right advice gets missed or ignored. This is all very 20-year-olds. And I hope George's clothes find more ants and feet find more inexplicable Legos. Yeah, so this is like a compilation and best of Reddit updates. So the people commenting on this are not like the original comments from him asking, am I the asshole for this? So the comments here on this compilation post are like, what? What?
Yeah.
Like, why are people telling you to do this? And
okay, and here's my question. How many people on each side told him keep your room moved or move it back? Because I bet only maybe like 5,000 people probably told him to. I don't know. I know Redditors, I know they definitely were telling this bitch, keep the room. Keep the room. This is totally fair. It's not fair. You all live in basements. You don't understand. So don't be giving advice.
You all live in your mom's basement. So.
Yeah, so stop giving advice to these people. But it's like, I guarantee. No, I feel there had to have been a good even split. Because people love to be petty, but people also love to call you out for shit on Reddit.
But I feel like it's which one ever gets there first. Which one's ever like the first. Most people just jump on the bandwagon. And it's like, and a lot of times Reddit is like, people will answer like they'll read this and be like, well, it's just a thing I'm reading on the internet. They don't actually realize that these are real people.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, well, this is how you win. This is how I'd want it to go.
Yeah.
If this was a story, this is how you win. And it's like, okay, this is how winning is not always the thing to do. Like, especially like I said, when it's like, you have to live with this person. And now, see, he did this, and now he doesn't have a place to live.
Yeah. And I'm always kind of like glad that his other friend already was like, well, I have a place to live, so I don't care if we get kicked out. See ya.
They're both honestly kind of just being stubborn.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm not gonna clean this. And And he's like, well, I'm not giving up the room then.
Mhm.
Fuck you. Well, fuck you. Well, I got a place. Well, so do I. See ya.
Yeah.
Like they're both just
Yeah.
like their egos are too big.
I agree. This was crazy. First of all, like I said, Redditors need to really understand that people are actually posting these, and people do actually go and they listen to the advice you give them. So be careful on what advice you do give them. Yeah, Redditors need to get a grip on life and move out of their mom's basement. And
Touch grass.
Yeah, please.
Go outside.
Yeah.
Go on a walk.
Take in consideration what your advice could do to a real person.
Maybe talk to a real person once in a while, not just your Discord waifu or your AI girlfriend.
Yeah, stop refreshing Am I the Asshole? Please.
Well, those are our crazy roommate stories. That was interesting. That last one was just dumb.
Yeah, really dumb. I will say though, I feel like these ones have all had good like resolutions at the end. And as crazy as they are, I feel like they're not even like the craziest stories we've heard.
No, I don't think so, because all of them had good endings except for the last one, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. They've all been like kind of things you can expect in roommates too.
Yeah, which is like, okay, when Reddit stories have good endings, I'm like, is this real?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's hard to believe that stories have good endings on Reddit. Which is sad, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, life sucks. So.
Because it's more interesting when it doesn't have a happy ending.
I think moral of the story is don't roommate with a friend or a stranger, actually. You know, just live on your own.
Your roommate's homeless boyfriend.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good conclusion.
Yep. That's it. So anyways, guys, remember to like, comment down below other topics you'd like to see on here. Leave a like down below. Check us out on Spotify. And we'll see you guys in next week's episode.